Here we go.
Now, I am a huge fan of the Kung Fu Panda franchise, specifically the first movie, which I hold near and dear to my heart. It's one of my favorite animated movies. I go as far as to say it's one of the best animated movies I've seen. I grew up with it, and it's just a movie that I think, even to this day, holding up, it's not just tainted by childhood nostalgia for me. I still think it's an excellent family film. So, of course, I'm going to be really excited for another installment, hoping that this movie can reach the heights of that one, and maybe I was a little bit too excited for this movie. Maybe my expectations were a little bit too high because I came out of it fairly disappointed. But as we get into the rest of the video, be sure to let me know your thoughts on this movie down below in the comments, and hit that like and subscribe button if you enjoy the rest of this video. In terms of what this movie carries over from the previous three movies is that, one, the fight sequences. They're top notch. They might be the best that we've ever seen in the Kung Fu Panda movies. I think the fight sequences really go hand in hand with the animation, which just feels 10 times better, seemingly. It has been 8 years since the last movie, so there's been a pretty big gap, and Dreamworks has been able to work on their animation, and animation has obviously changed over the past near decade. And in those action sequences where there is a lot going on, the movie has so much visual flair. It's incredible to look at. I think the movie has some funny moments. I was chuckling a little bit, nothing really laughing out loud. I don't think the Kung Fu Panda movies have ever been as funny as I found that first movie. All these movies are silly, so most of the humor isn't going to work for an adult. I think it's just about that balance, where it's like how much of it is okay and not too much for you as an audience member to be a little bit annoyed by it. But the biggest issue with this movie is that the story leaves much to be desired, and all the heart from the previous three movies, it's almost gone. What's interesting to me is that the writers from the previous three movies are back on for this movie. I don't know if they kind of just ran out of an idea for a story where to take the movies and this franchise from here. As this movie is kind of a passing of the torch in terms of Po and his story, they kind of set it up for Awkwafina's character to continue on with the movies. Po isn't necessarily the central focus of it. I mean, he is still the main character, don't get me wrong, but in terms of his arc, it was somewhat completed with the last movie. And so at this point, it just feels like this franchise is running on low fuel. Speaking of Awkwafina's character, I am not interested to see any more of her. In terms of character development, there's not much there for her, not much to latch onto. And I know many will complain about the lack of the Furious Five, which isn't really a spoiler. The reason why they didn't come back is most likely due to the fact that they couldn't get the cast members to return. It's an easy way to write them out of the movies if cast members don't want to come back. I think their presence in the movies is most felt in the first two, and the third movie not so much. Would it have been nice to have them? Yes, but they weren't sorely missed, I guess you could say. But overall, I was disappointed, to say the least, coming out of this movie. I wanted more of it, a more memorable story, a more memorable villain. Viola Davis's Chameleon is almost boring. Aside from the fact that because of her, you get the return of characters like Tai Lung, there's not much to her, and she just kind of wants to rule the world like most of these villains. But there's no emotional purpose. And speaking of emotions, the story just leaves much to be desired. In the end, I'm wondering, did we really need this movie? I'm gonna give Kung Fu Panda 4 a C, and if you're really looking forward to this movie, I'd say you can stream it. Don't rush out to the theater to go see it, because you'll probably be pretty disappointed like I was. But maybe you love this movie. Let me know your thoughts on it down below in the comments. I want to thank you so much for watching this review. And again, if you did enjoy it, be sure to hit that like and subscribe button, as well as that notification bell so you don't miss any further videos. My name is Ben. People call me Meter, and I'll see you guys in the next one.